let's do a few examples of working with square roots just to see how things work. Alright, so when you have the square root butted up against a number, the default action here is to multiply, just with everything else, just like with parentheses or something like that. If this was 3 parentheses and then a 3 on the inside, this would be multiplication. So instead what we have here is this is 3 times the square root of 49. So the square root of 49, the square root here acts as a grouping symbol. So normally if you had operations on the inside of the parentheses, that would be required to be dealt with first. But not only that, in order for you to deal with the multiplication on the outside of the square root, you have to deal with the square root itself first. So we would have to take the square root of 49, which is of course 7, because 7 squared is 49. And 3 times 7 we can do, that's 21. 100 minus the square root of 100. Similarly here, we have subtraction on the outside, and we have a square root here, so we have to take the square root of 100 first. So this is 100 minus 10, because the square root of 100 is 10. And we end up with 90. In this situation, on this one, we have a square root here, we have multiplication, we have a square. All of that stuff is taking place on the top part of a division, top part of a fraction, I should say. And we do actually have a the pattern that allows us to work on multiple things at the same time. We have an exponent here and the square root, which are both higher priority than the multiplication. So the square root kind of comes with, well, you could really think of it as coming with exponents, but it's a higher priority than multiplication. Like I just set up there, you have to do it before the multiplication. So we would be able to do both the 16 and the 6 in the same step. 4 squared is 16, the square root of 36 is 6, so that we get both of those. 16 times 6 over 3. Well, it looks like now I can just apply one of my rules for fractions. Since this is multiplication up top, 6 is a factor, and since 3 is a factor of 6, 3 is a factor at the top. So canceling that out, I'm left with 16 times 2, which is 32. On this one, we have subtraction on the inside of the parentheses, so we'd have to deal with the subtraction before the square root. 169. If you don't happen to know that one offhand, I'm going to pull out my calculator and go ahead and do this one. So on this calculator, the square root symbol is right here. So I type in square root 169 and I'd press enter. You'll notice that on this calculator it did not put the line over the top. That's just a formatting thing on this calculator. If I wanted to have multiple parts, both in addition and subtraction here, if I wanted to do 169 minus, what am I doing? 169 minus 144 here, then you can see we get 5. Yeah, whatever. I don't know why I did a square root of 169, because that's not what we're after here. We're after 169 minus 144, which was 25. Square root of 25 is 5. And that's what the calculator did here. When I put it in parentheses, it knew to do that subtraction before it did the square root. And of course, the square root of 169 is irrelevant in this question. Alright, on this one we get, looks like we have an exponent here, and we have addition. Those are the only two, and multiplication, I guess. So those 3 operations. It looks like I need to do the exponent, or the square root first. It really comes with the exponents, that's why I kind of said exponent there. Little slip of the tongue. Square root of 25, and the square root of 25 is 5, and here we need to do the multiplication next, so 6 times 20, and then 6 plus 20 rather, and we get 26. On this problem, all this stuff on the top is needs to be done before that division. And let's see, there's all sorts of stuff on here. There's multiplication here, there's an exponent there, and there's multiplication here, and a square root. So there's all sorts of things. I'm saying the exponent, 8.4, I wonder if that's supposed to be 8 times 4. Yeah, I don't know, whatever. It says 8.4. We're taking 8.4 and squaring it, and the square root of 3, that doesn't come out terribly nice. So numbers that don't come out nice, we would want to plug into the calculator. If I typed in the square root of 3, you can see this is 1.3 or 1.73, whatever. I'm actually just going to type all of this one into the calculator because I can already see it's not going to come out nicely. We got 3, 8.4 quantity squared times the square root of 3. I'm closing out my parentheses. You can see this calculator matches them up. The parentheses at the very beginning with this one. Then I'll say divided by 2 to make sure that it does that division after everything else. We got 183.32 whatever. There's no indication as to which way we should round on this one, so I'll just leave it like that.